ready to go. I'm ready to go. Three, two, one, go. Hey, I'm Astrious, or currently Astrious, and this is Vexx for the GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. We're currently playing the GameCube version, specifically on the Wii, and why? Yeah, faster loading, because loading sucks. So this is the tutorial where the game's going to teach you how to play the game, and we're going to skip that because it's all a dream, and we want to quit it. So basically, this game's storyline is revenge. Your grandfather gets killed and his soul gets put in the Shadow Realm to suffer for all eternity, and you're like, no, I don't really like that, so you're getting revenge. But you're also conveniently saving the worlds, I guess? I don't know. You don't really care, you really just want revenge and nothing else. To do that, we have to collect 60 hearts, and I do mean, like, beating hearts of your enemies. What I just collected there, so we're going to collect the 60 fastest ones that we can, and what we do need is that little like circle I picked up, which is the rock suit. That will give us like 3 hearts later down the track, and you'll see them eventually. So this is the first world, Timberdale. There's a couple of movement-based tech stuff that you might not know even if you had played the game yourself, and that is along the lines of movement, long jumps and high jumps. I'm actually doing the inputs for them backwards, so instead of crouching and then jumping, I'm jumping and then crouching, and the game still registers this as long as I do the inputs with good spacing, and it also gives me a little bit of extra height and length on my jumps, and that's very important in a platforming game. So this particular heart is nothing exciting. It's just go to these 3 towers, swim through 3 rings, and then the heart spawns, and away you go. There's only 1 or 2 really like important glitches that we'll be using in this run, and you won't see it until later in this level. But I'll come to that when we get to it. That right there was a high jump from water, so a couple of scenarios in the game let you do a high jump or a long jump if you perform the inputs in reverse from normal, so what I'm doing anyway. And get him out of the way. He likes to kick me off into the ledge, into the water. So the hearts are called Wraith Hearts, and they're basically giant beakers of energy, and we need the energy to fuel the Rift Hub so we can gain access to the other levels. It's like the plot is ridiculous and very detailed, but I don't really care. I haven't really sat down and learnt it properly. So there's actually going to be a cutscene up ahead where the game is going to explain to me what I'm doing, and I'm going to skip it in such a way that the game doesn't it doesn't even look like I did one. Whoa, camera, please. So we're gonna go and kick this soccer ball around, and this right here is why I hate soccer with a passion. This stupid thing right here. Many a run has been lost to this thing just getting a mind of its own and sailing off into the water. So Vexx is starting up his career as the next greatest soccer player of all time, and he's up against these marshmallow things. They're epic goalies and defenders, but they've left the goal square untouched. So if the ball wasn't too close to the goal, I could actually kick it and then jump into the heart as it spawns, and that skips the loading cutscene. This game, if I had to describe it to someone, it is basically like an edgy version of Super Mario 64 in the very literal sense of it. Basically, like, the second item you see in the top left is jars. If you collect 6 of them, a heart appears, just like red coins. The third thing is shards. Collect 100 and a heart appears. You need to collect a certain amount of magical space MacGuffin hearts in order to access the next level. Nice little dialogue from our friend Darby.
Even if you do kill one, the heart never disappears.
So that guy is the guy that supposedly saves you from the colossal explosion that results when you put on the claws, because the claws are now bound to you permanently because they're like sentient or something. Their spirits are like, you're gonna do our work for us. And you're like, okay, I get to kill stuff, I'm happy. And then, like, when you put him on, there's an explosion, you get knocked out, and then your dream while your recovery is that. And he saves you, and he's like, hey, can you go collect these hearts? It'll help you get all the stuff that you need to do. And you're like, okay. So that red disc I collected at the very start of the game gives me this, the rock suit. And the rock suit makes me invincible, such as that. I can't jump very high, but I gain a lot of momentum if I happen to move relatively straight long enough. And the point of this entire suit is to break crystal walls and veils, and the crystal veil in this world is that glowing distant heart. So, very quick heart, obviously already worth the disc we had picked up, but there's 2 more after this in later levels. And that's fantastic stuff. We really want like the fastest hearts we can possibly grab. Oh, actually, I'll do the jars. The order in which I do the hearts isn't always important or necessary, so I might get them a little bit backwards because I don't have my splits in front of me, so I'm not going to do the exact order that I did in my PB. However, having said that, some hearts I do need to do before/after specific hearts, and that's for reasons I'll explain later. For example, this one has to come before the Sundial heart, which I'll do last in this level, and that's because it lines up pretty well with a energy gaining or rage gaining section, and I'll explain rage when I get to it. But otherwise, I'm just running around the level collecting jars with souls on them, and if I collect 6, I'll be rewarded with a heart. So similar to the water jumps, these springs let me do long jumps or high jumps off of them at the end if I time it right. Also, climbing up walls. Oop. The mechanics for it are very slippery, I guess you would say, and this jumping thing that I'm doing right now is a timed mechanic that if I do it wrong, I would actually fall down or not make any distance at all, and any sort of like movement or kick or something like that breaks it pretty much. Whoop. So I'm juggling this guy. You can see numbers building up and moving towards the top of the screen. That's my rage. That's how angry Vexx is. He's a very angry, angsty teenager. When the bar is full, I can activate Rage Mode at will. Rage Mode is the key to the glitch in the game that is used to break a lot of the platforming puzzles. Because in a platforming game where you're meant to be only able to jump once at all, being able to jump twice or 3 times in a row kind of breaks a couple of the puzzles. They're like, oh, we're going to put this heart just out of your reach, and you're like, yoink. So when it comes up later on, I'll explain exactly how it works and why it works. There's something I keep forgetting to do for the cutscene, but I'll do it next time, hopefully. There's a silly thing I can do for the cutscenes. Hearts and make them a little less boring or mundane. Speaking of how this game is just like Super Mario 64, on our sister stream we have Super Mario 64. So if you want to see the good version of this game, you can jump right over to that stream. Whoop, that was silly. You may have noticed that I sort of ran to the far side of the wall, the climbable wall, and that's because if I take the immediate section of the wall, the little like red dudes, they will actually bump into me when I reach the top, and I have been thrown off the ledge. So I've learnt to move to the side slightly. So now I'm going to do the heart that involves interacting with our favourite friend, the sumo wrestler. he wants to challenge us to a game of sumo wrestling, and he is just a little bit bigger than us, I guess. So I guess it can't be that bad of a fight, right? He seems to think it's fair for him. There he is. Look at that body shape, beautiful. So we're gonna pose with him. Look at that. Wow, rude. Come on, man. Don't be rude. Do some more posing. Oh, lovely. And he's a little bit quicker this time. Not that quick. That would have hurt, I reckon, your entire weight on your head. Alright, one last one. No posing. Ah, beautiful. Right through the platform. Look at this. Ah, just beautiful. Beautiful game programming. So we may have just thrown him off of a really tall tower to suffer from his fate, but he's going to be back, and he'll be back with a vengeance, and he's probably going to kick my butt repeatedly. I keep forgetting the cutscene stuff. Dang it. Oh well. This next heart, I'm going to do the glitch, the rage jumping as it's referred to. So I needed the full rage meter for it, and you'll see it when it comes up. I'll do something that shouldn't happen. It's a little squeaky toy thing. Marshmallows. Gravestone being difficult. Oh yeah, this is the sundial. The sundial, there's like a day-night mechanic in this. At nighttime, enemies are stronger, scarier, dangerous, so on and so forth. So we want it to be daytime, but we also want it to be certain times of the day. So the sundial door opens, so we can get into these weird little platforming challenges. Oh no, I jumped off. Wait, no I didn't. That's rage jumping. So by activating rage, you're in midair. Your Vexx like charges and does like the big pose and whatnot. But if you jump, immediately afterwards, you get this tiny little hop. It's practically non-existent, but it is enough for you to trigger the long jump or high jump that is done in reverse, and so you get a second, you get an extra long jump or high jump, and you can triple jump by doing a fireball. So when you rage, you get the ability to throw a fireball out by pressing B. And if you throw it out, you can throw out one while you're midair, and if you do it, you get yet again another jump. So that's the end of Timberdale. We're going to move on to Dragon Reach, the second level. Nice and deserty. We're going to collect a few here. A few hearts. I'm going to start with the jars one. So the jars in most levels actually follow like a theme or an area that they're focused on. So this one, the jars are all centered around this sort of skeleton structure, this bony area. And by being in the same location makes it very easy for me to pick them up. So I actually favor the jar hearts more than most other hearts in the game. So I'm just navigating around this place. Nothing too special. So there's a little jar down there. That's going to be the last one we'll get. If I can get this jump correctly. Nearly fell to my death. Whoa, careful. If you fall down, you need to make your way up, which is like a little detour, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It also looks cool when you actually just land on the jar wholesale. Alright, I'm going to focus on getting this silly trick for you. There it is. So now he's going to fart lightning. Beautiful. So for some reason you can do an input while that cutscene is loading, and when you do, it actually registers and applies it to Vexx. So I did a jump, and I also pointed down, so my character's like, okay, you jumped and you faced the wrong direction. So it's like, okay, start the cutscene. But wait, he's levitating. Just play it anyway, who cares? I can also turn the camera during that cutscene, but only if I input it during that same frame that I have to do it as before. By doing it, however, I can't change it from happening after it starts, so people get a little dizzy and a little ill when they see it, because it's just constantly spinning for the full duration of the cutscene. And it also sometimes throws me off because the camera sort of goes to an awkward location. So this squeaky toy is going to give me the next bit of rage. I mean, I thought squeaky toys were meant to make you less angry, but apparently they make Vexx angry. I don't know, he's a very angry man. Probably has like little man syndrome or something. We're not sure. If it wasn't entirely clear, I am doing the equivalent of 100 coins by collecting 100 shards, and I think, if my memory serves correctly, this is the only one that we do the 100 on. And the reason why is because unlike Super Mario 64, where you can pick up the 100 coin star and another star, you can't, picking up the 100 shard star, heart, just kicks you back out to the lobby. Ooh, barely made that. So you can use a lot of your combat maneuvers for for platforming. So the flare kick and the ground pound are quite good for that sort of thing. Man, if I didn't miss that first shard, that would have been like a perfect fountain. That can be kind of tricky. I've had problems with that in the past. Yep. Ooh. There's exciting stuff happening in the other stream. Go there. Dramatic pan. Man, that makes me dizzy. Ooh. I'm not gonna do that again. Don't worry. I just wanted to show it off once. So, you saw me pick up a yellow disc, similar to how we picked up the red disc. Oh wait, I don't need rage. That's called the wingsuit. So that's the only other suit in the game. So there's just the two, the lava suit and the wingsuit. And in a similar case, the lava suit, the hearts we get from it are quite time saving and quick. So it's worth the time to get it. Also, specifically for the fly suit, it happens to be right in the middle of the path that we take for the shards, so there's no downside to picking it up except for the like 1 second loading screen that it gives you, which is the game attempting to save. By not running saves, I cut about 3 to 4 minutes of time from the game, and by running on the Wii, I save 15 minutes of loading time over the GameCube. And I'll show off the wingsuit. Silly. The timing for the long jumps and high jumps actually matters. If you do it too early, or if you do it too quickly, you will always long jump no matter what, like even if you're not touching the control stick in any way. And that's annoying, because usually you want to go up, not long. Or forward, I guess. English is hard. So this is the wingsuit, has a timer to it similar to the thing, and it's got crazy controls similar to the rock suit. So I'm thinking we can go sideways this time. Or not. Screw you, game. Didn't even want to do it. Gotta do the suit, the rock suit. So like the purpose of these suits or whatever is meant to be sort of like a movement timed challenge. Although I'm not sure if the game expects you to know where the heart is before you do it. I assume so, but the timing is so lenient that it's hard to say. But whatever, I don't mind. Quick heart's a good heart. I'm kind of a little upset, I'd say, that some of the hearts in this game aren't displayed in the any % because they're too slow. My personal favorite was the one I just passed like a door, that has the hop and drop minigame in it, and it's probably the silliest minigame out there. You fight basically dark versions of yourself in a game of running around and doing like you want to score higher than they do, and you basically convince the AI to stand in the same spot constantly and just fall off the map repeatedly. But then it becomes a game of can you guess the score I'll get? So I want to say I've gotten all the hearts for this level. I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have. We'll find out soon enough. I think. Yep. Okay. I should be fine. So this is the Neverglades. And we're gonna get a few. Whoa! Look at that leg. We're gonna get a few hearts from here. The first heart we need to get to is behind this door, and in order to open this door, we need to collect these 3 sigils, and that's pretty time-consuming. But the other side is that there is a second heart in there that is incredibly quick to get. So the trade-off is the time it takes to open the door is still still smaller than the time it would take to do another heart in the route normally when the time is divided amongst the hearts that are actually gathered in it. So like routing became a little bit challenging in that regard. Bit of a math problem, I guess. But it made for a lot of route changes in rapid succession until we sorted out like the fastest hearts that we could perform based on skill and difficulty, as well as what we knew in tech-wise. So I do need more rage for this particular heart. And basically this structure to my left is a giant temple, and it's currently buried under the sand, and if I wanted to, I could go to the 3 areas surrounding the temple, and it would lead me to switches. If I press all the switches, then it gives me another switch, and then that switch rises this monstrous building out of the sand, and then I can climb it normally. Or I could do what I'm doing right now. Ah, bugger. Wasn't the worst thing to happen. But unfortunately, I stuffed up the timing for the first jump. I get sort of scared by these flying guys. But they're also a benefit because when I stuff it up, they're right here to help me. If they would just let me smack them. There's one. It's very important that I juggle them because these guys die in 1 hit, and 1 hit is bad because I don't get much rage out of that. But if they don't touch the ground, then I get the most amount of rage out of them. Please don't get too close to me. They really like to get right up in your face. Oh wait, you're not. Well, now you're dead. There we go. So just get this up here. Oh, I missed it. That's unfortunate. That's a delayed fireball jump in that I don't have... I have rage still active while I'm doing it because you can deactivate it whenever you want. And by holding on to it, I can get 1 extra double jump out of a rage, or as many as my gauge will allow me. Ah, bugger. I do have to climb down now. I didn't have much trouble with it in practice, but I guess I'm getting the camera vibes or whatever. Stage fright, that's the word. Or maybe I just can't talk and play at the same time. Some streamer I am. There is a heart down there, that's the other heart I would pick up in this circumstance, but I'll keep gunning for the hard one. Yeah, there we go. I remember spending hours practicing that trick, and then I finally got it to somewhat consistent. I'm like, now I can do runs with it, and I'd still stuff it up. Dang it. But yeah, we'll be going back into that room and collecting 1 extra heart, and that was that heart that we passed repeatedly. And my rage is quite low at the moment, and that's pretty bad because building that up is kind of time consuming. But thankfully, and this feels almost too coincidental, The only time in the entire game they give you a full rage meter is in this level, and we do use it for a heart. So by putting this heart, by putting that heart immediately after these two, we solve the rage problem that we encounter. Beautiful. So that room is done. We don't have to deal with that anymore. So now we can check out the rest of the Neverglades. Ooh, nearly loaded the wrong world. So we need to go all the way up that large stairwell. Jump over to the weird slug thing, collect the page, which does nothing, except give us some sick lore. Ooh. Whoa. Nearly went into that loading zone. Basically, what I was doing with the spamming is that if you long jump into a steep enough slope, you can continue to mash jump while holding down the crouch, and it will just continue to give you long jumps until you stop mashing or fall off. So this is the rage thing I was talking about. Whoops. My second fireball didn't go off, but that's okay. By jumping just as it lands, I land while the cutscene plays, and it refills my rage for me once more. But now I have full rage as opposed to no rage. And now I will immediately use that for another trick. Another quick snagging. So you might have noticed a flight pad on the path I took up the stairwell. And that's to get that heart at the top of that waterfall over there. I'm meant to sail all the way across, but because we can triple jump and defy all forms of Vexx logic, we can just grab it. And that's another good reason why the rage fountain, I guess you could call it, or charge pod, is there, and it happens to just really be like super convenient. Like, I can't stress how convenient it is. And I find it really odd because it just never appears again. Like, that's the first and last time you'll see it in the entire game. So I'm about to deal with the single most worst AI I've ever seen in my entire life. These fish can either behave perfectly and there'll be no problems, or they'll do stuff that you're like, what? So hopefully they'll behave. Ooh. Alright, so they're behaving somewhat. But I kind of want to show off them going crazy, but at the same time, I don't really have much control over it. Alright, they're behaving, which is very good for us, but they could very easily go crazy at any moment. Ah, beautiful. So hopefully they have registered, because they do sometimes just not register. Ow, they attacked me while I was standing on the platform. Alright, good. Sometimes they'll go through the ring, all three of them, but they won't actually all trigger the ring's effect. So the platform will go up 2/3 and then just stop and start sinking again, and it just wastes a whole lot of time. But I've had stuff like, generally if they hit me, they get glitchy. I had one bump into me head first without hitting me, and it drifted, like Tokyo car drifting off the map. It just flew away, and I was like, what? And I had to reset the room to deal with that. I had one shoot out like a bolt of lightning straight for me with no warning or no indication that it was going to do so. It was following me just like those three did just before, and then it just shot out at me and attacked me. And I'd never seen it before. They're just crazy, really buggy fish. So you might think back to the start of the run where I jumped into like a painting and traversed it like a 2D landscape. That was the first time, and this is the last time you'll see it in the game. But this one has a much more fleshed out component to it. But it's a very cool, like 2D mini platformy style thing. So if you're not aware, the white lines are how I know it's a solid surface or not. Good. That could be a bit dangerous. If I fall down through the bottom, I just respawn. Ooh. Ooh. Careful. I fall through and I spawn out on the door I came in, but thankfully I got through all of that in a clean run. The reason why I couldn't move initially is because the game was trying to do two things at once. I spawned the heart, and I also left the paintings at the same time. So the game was like, wait, I can only do one of those things, but it does two. It does both of them, kinda. It cuts off like a second or so in time if you do them both at the same time. Alright, so that was the Neverglades done. Good level. I hope you have some dog emotes you might want to spam, because you now have a chance to spam them in chat, for we're about to see the only dog in the game. Say hello to Rex. He's pretty cute, eh? He one-shots you if he hits you, so it's basically like the floor is lava, or the floor is guarded by a vicious guard dog, and he is about 100 times your size. You're like tiny in this. It's the house of a giant, is what I have found out. There we go. So we're just going to quickly skip having to traverse the piano to get on top of it. This is the only time we're going to change it to nighttime, and that's just because it's going to advance forward very quickly out of nighttime. Ooh, okay. One has survived. You will be my pet. Or not. See ya, buddy. That's okay, we have a backup over here. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior, Vexx? Alright, so this is actually a developer-intended cutscene. I'll just take the death rather than waste my rage. That's a developer-intended shortcut. It's tricky, but it cuts out like a third of the platforming that you have to do to complete this level. And I found, and there's a couple of them in the game where there's like a little shortcut that requires you to do some risky platforming or some dangerous jumps, but in turn cuts the travel time in half or thirds. But this is why I needed rage, is to cut the other third of the track out by continuing up one extra level. So I'm just going to ignore all these guys. I don't really need them. Ooh, that was a bit dangerous. Also, apparently this is the inside of a piano. I don't know. I feel like they may have gotten a few things lost in translation. So I did set the sundial before I did this. Hopefully, it should be fine, but hopefully the sundial will be in the position it's meant to be in. I've had weird glitches where like I'll do everything the exact same and it couldn't possibly be out of place, but the sundial door won't be open. It will just like either freak out or think it's the wrong time of day or something. I don't know. So we're gonna hopefully that doesn't happen. Ah, lovely. Every time you see me ground pounds when I shouldn't have ground pounded, that's just me stuffing up the inputs for the long jumps and high jumps. I spaced them out too far, basically. So the sundial door is in here. It's in the grandfather clock. There it is, and it is open. Lovely. Okay, good. That was kind of concerning for me, but like I actually don't know what causes it to happen, and it hasn't happened recently. So yeah, these like sundial rooms are basically like platforming challenges, but a lot of it does have skips that I can perform because of my conditions and knowledge of the game. And this guy is really trying. Ow. Can you stop? Please? No, he's gone for one more. And that guy had determination to really put me down. Yeah, stuff like that. Those are all like, I feel like they're just intended shortcuts if you feel like it, but some of them are outside of my reach and normally, but because I can get that little extra bit of height or length, it solves that problem for me. We're just going to shoot sideways, because why not? So next up we'll do the lunchbox. Do the hearty lunch. Beautiful. That was a really good juggle. Basically, this combat, the game's combat system has a timing to it. So if you do normal pacing attacks, you do 3 attacks. If you do slow, you'll do 2 attacks and then 1 really big charge attack. And if you mash as hard as you can, like I did, you'll do that really rapid attack that you can do. And I do that to carry the enemies towards a new enemy and then uppercut them with them. And if I get a good uppercut or a good juggle, I'll continue with it. Otherwise, it could actually backfire quite heavily on me. Where basically, if I'm unlucky, the characters will start colliding with each other mid-air, and they'll add each other's momentums repeatedly to each other, and they sail off into the distance. Never to be seen again. Romantic lovers. And this is the Xbox Station 64. They, I heard this from one of the developers. Basically, they couldn't realistically put any one individual console on there. So they were like, well, we'll just make some mutated amalgamation of the 3 consoles it's on. So you wonder why I dropped the, just let it go. If it goes to the right, it's so slow compared to the left path that I will actually just let it fall and then go left, and it will still be faster. And the reason why it's faster going left is because it doesn't matter where it hits on my bar, unlike normal Breakout, it will go on a perfectly linear path and do the same thing every time. And on the left path, there's 2 doubles and 1 instant double. Well, I mean, you'll see this double is instant. Whereas the right path has multiple misses and only 1 double hit, so it's very, very slow. And so we're gonna wait. Nah, I missed it. So if you jump off at the same time as when the heart is released from the television, you can move during this cutscene, but you can't, like the camera does do that still, so you might not be able to see what's going on. And the little guys roaming around might smack you up a couple of times. Do some more lightning farts. Very forceful. So we'll do the clock now, yes. So the top of the clock has a heart on it, and you're meant to go into the clock through the same spot that I went to do the sundial move, sundial room, and then traverse it and come out on the top. Or I could take this oddly behaving coat rack, do one quick super jump, and bam. There's a weird thing, I jumped over it, but if you just walked over that sort of lump on the top of the clock, Vexx randomly does a front flip. He just like goes and like does a freestyle front flip for us. It's very strange, I don't know why he does it. I'm gonna get rage just in case something goes awry on this next heart, because this next heart is spooky. We're gonna go to the very top of the level, so if you have like fear of heights or vertigo or something, you probably won't like this heart at all. Gotta be careful of those little charging fellas. If they hit you while you're in midair, you fly so far. So yeah, very spooky jars, but they're all so close together. How could I resist the temptation? Ugh, jump felt a bit off. So this last jar, you're gonna see something weird happen after I pick it up. And I don't know why this happens, but it's consistent every single time. I can't move. Oh, now I can. It just hangs you there for a couple seconds while you do like the Squid Sisters hands twirly thing for a couple seconds. Shout outs to Splatoon 2 that just came out like 2 days ago. So I believe, if I've done everything correctly, yep. Alright, so this cutscene's like the mid-game story, but we don't care. I could spoil it for you, but on the off chance someone decides, hey, I want to play this game after this, I'll keep it a secret, because some stuff happens and it's pretty intense. But we're done with Tempest Peak Manor. We're going to move to my favorite level, the Below. It's water-based, and we all love water levels, don't we? It's also one of the levels I get the most amount of hearts in, because, of course, the one level I hate the most happens to be the one I have to be in the most. Thankfully, there are a lot of non-water-based sections for me. I wonder if that rock music is getting picked up on the mic. Yeah. It's lovely background music for you all. Yes, the controls are in fact reversed during this bit. Whoop. That's okay. That's like the dodgiest jump of all of the jumps I have to make. Ooh, okay, we're good. One cycle, PogChamp. It's actually super easy, but shh. Let's pretend it was exciting. If on the most optimal of circumstances, I will be halfway through this cutscene before the game actually rotates me back to normal, and it gets kind of dizzying because it's like spinning and then it's rotating, flipping at the same time. I don't know. It's bad. But yes, that's. There's a couple of movement-based things where they like skew your controls or something like that. I'll do the beam first. Oh, pardon me. I'm just thinking about the order in which I do the hearts. As I said before, sometimes the order doesn't matter, sometimes it does. I'm also trying to think about what hearts I feel ready for. Because there's one particular one in this level that I'm kind of not keen on. And I feel like I should get it out of the way as soon as possible. Or attempt to get it out of the way. So that little, like, thing that I destroyed, it grapples you and then it binds you and makes you slow. And you have to slam the control stick left and right to free yourself. Or, if you're lucky and time it right like I did, you can kill it midway through its capture, because it tries to run away from you while it's got you captured. So I did skip a large portion of this, and if you ever played this particular level casually, you would know that it is like a nightmare. The water on the sections on the floor area, if you hit that area of water, it takes all control away from you and it just drags you off the level and dumps you into the pit and you die. Because why not, I guess? It's only the 4th level in the game. The camera doesn't like it if you grab the heart from above or below the its level. So sometimes you'll just get like a picture of Vexx's feet. He has nice shoes. Very spacey. Alright, I'll do the sumo. Okay, so the sumo came back and he's here and he's mad and he's also really strong now. So we're going to try and beat him again. And the optimal fight is super quick and that's why he's been routed in. But if you stuff it up, it's like so much slower than any other heart in the game. So here he is, he's very angry. Vexx is angry. Look at that scowl. He's got some new tricks up his sleeve. Hopefully we'll never see any of them. Don't ask me how he can move like that, but he can. This sumo is very agile. So phase 2 is probably the easiest one, just because it's most consistent. Phase 1 has the only chance of things going wrong, but phase 3 and 4 is entirely down to how bad I am at this. If I stuff it up, it's very bad. Ooh, okay. I almost thought he didn't make the distance. So if he doesn't get pushed to the edge and start doing his, oh my lord, I'm falling off, he'll start cracking his knuckles and he'll start his power attack, which takes a minute to resolve, and it's very, very bad. Ooh. Nope. So now you get to see it. He can throw rocks for some ridiculous reason. I can't do anything to him. That's the other half that I was scared of, is his charge. You can't jump over him. I can assure you that much. He moves too quickly, and he's actually got a really tall hitbox. So that's what I was afraid of, but hey, you get to see his super sick powers. And he got revenge for last time. Come on, buddy. Be nice. Good boy. One more for me. One more. Just be nice. It's not that hard. Just be nice and throw yourself off the level. Yes! Okay. He could have easily have game overed me if I'd failed enough attempts. But now he's gone. He's out. He's not coming back. He's not getting a sequel. Adrian's revenge isn't happening. He's out. But man, did he try. So that was probably the scariest heart, I guess, in the entire run for me, personally. There's one other one that I'm a little bit scared of, but I do have a backup in case it goes horribly, horribly wrong. So I'm not too fussed about that one. But now we just chug through the rest of the Below's wondrous treasures. So, what would you find at the bottom of water? If the answer was not lava and hell, then you are wrong. Because apparently hell exists beneath a pool of water. So we go from nice lovely water that doesn't hurt you unless you stay in it too long, to lava that one-shots you. And we're going to be here twice. So we're just going to do some quick navigations, kicking up the poles as fastest, obviously, because we want to go fast. Watch out for the flying guys, they really, really like to stuff up your jumps. It's good navigation. Now, if I had rage at this point, I could actually do a miniature skip here, but it only saves a handful of seconds at most, and the amount of time spent gathering that rage is not worth the trade-off. So, unfortunately, we do not use it. More lightning farts, just cause. So yeah, we're gonna go back down there again, but this time we're gonna go for a mini game. And this mini game, pardon me, is like the only source of randomness, I guess you could say, in the entire game. Or at least I haven't determined exactly how it works or the exact functionality for it. But basically, I have to play a game where I have to make the entire board one color. It can be black or white. And these pirates, 3 pirates, will be attempting to stuff me up by throwing cannonballs onto the field, and the cannonballs always do the same thing. They bounce 3 times across the 6x6 field and then explode. And they always do it in a straight line in exactly the same spacing. And I kind of need them to do it to a spot that would make the field complete for me, so that way I don't have to worry about it, because I can't clear the board fast enough to actually outrace the cannonballs. One time I long jumped onto the board as it was crushing, and it managed to think I had landed on the board and made it all one color immediately, and it solved the game. It solved the minigame immediately. And I couldn't replicate it. I spent like a solid hour, 2 hours working on it, and I couldn't get it to work. So I think it might have been a fluke chance with Taz or something like that. So like I would have liked that, but instead got ruined. I'll just do this, clean it up. Also, the counter's about to crush me. Or not. So yeah, basically the counter's like... Oh, that was close. The counter's basically like a get off the stage or else you'll get crushed. I almost stuffed that up. But yeah, basically you have to wait for them to either repeat and do 2 in a row or happen to pick the one you're standing on and then you just destroy it and complete it quickly. But that's the only real source of randomness in the run. The next source of randomness, I guess, being the final boss. He's got a bit of a oddness to him that affects my speed. So this next heart that I'm about to do, it has one particular section in it that I'm going to call for a warning if you are male and quite proud of your privates that make you male. You might want to look away from the screen because it might sicken you what happens. And I'll give you a warning when it happens, or is about to happen. Ugh. So basically the jars are just in bubbles around the edge of the map. And the convenience of doing them is also that it puts me in front of the sundial, so I can do the sundial room next. Here it comes. That probably didn't tickle, maybe. And he's just sort of like whimpers in the corner. Hey man, he had the jar. I had no choice, okay? I needed that jar and he was making fun of my smallness. Vexx has really bad little man syndrome. He even has like the nice little sunflower overalls on. Just ruin his day and possibly his week. So this jump is deceptive. There's a pit right there. So if I missed that jump, I would just sail to my death. And I had been tricked by that before. I was like, oh yeah, if I stuff it up, I just land in like the lower area. But no, I sailed straight to my death and I was like, that's unfortunate. And lost a run to that one. Right at the top of the level. I did forget one heart, but I'll do it after the sundial one. Hopefully I don't forget it. Camera, thank you. Oh, that's bright. I don't usually play on a CRT. This isn't a luxury. This looks old-fashioned and I'm scared. I like to play on my capture card software with my multiple amounts of input lag. Makes me better, would you believe? So we're back in here again, and that's because the sundial door's in here, and that's why we need to be back here. No other reason. It's not like we're doing a visit, or I just want to show off how good I am at upside down stuff. Ah, you little bugger. The hitbox on that orb is very odd. There's the sundial room. So getting crushed in this game is an instant kill. So very bad, obviously. We don't want to be crushed. So we're going to take it easy here. Just because I've had long jumps go askew here. Just a very dramatic run sequence. I'm going to skip the elevator. Ow. That's fine. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. Can you not? Can you not? I'm going to die. Ooh, okay. So yeah, that's an emergency platform in case I stuff up the jump. You're meant to otherwise just make it across. I'm very hurt and might just get killed outright. Camera? Camera, thank you. Alright, so I might take it a little bit easy. No. Usually I just run through that without any problems, and usually I have enough health to tank that, but what is going on with the camera? Thank you. Good heavens. Yeah, I don't know. I tried to guess the path through the fallen room, I guess you could call it, and I guessed horribly, multiple times. Right, long jump. High jump. It's okay. Ignore those guys. Oh, camera, thank you. Or not. So you have to kill those guys to open the door, and they take a lot of hits, and they can only be really hit consistently through jump kicks. Ow. No. Sorry, little guy. Your sacrifice will most likely be forgotten. So that little, the weird orb thing you saw me standing next to while I was waiting for the crusher to come down is actually a hint orb, similar to the hint blocks in Super Mario World. It tells you that long jumps are faster ways of movement than walking. Fantastic speed tech. I haven't forgotten the heart I nearly forgot, okay? I did remember it. We have to go see the pirates again, but in a different location, and steal something from them. There's some sick rock going on down the hole from me. So that very large, scary-looking sea creature's got something for us. Pirate booty. So these are the pirates. A, X, B. Same for every GameCube game. The answer is in your manual, so if you didn't have the manual, you would have to guess how to do this. And every time you stuff it up, the pirates beat you up and kick you out of the whale. I'm assuming rear end. It's very disgusting. So we've gotten all the hearts we require from the below, so we can leave that wretched place. And we're going to move on to, I can remember this. It's Dagger Craig, yes. The sister level to Dragon Reach, the second level we were in. Now this level has one heart in particular that's the only glitched / broken heart in the entire game that we can abuse in any sort of way. And I'm going to show you how I abuse it. Basically, it has 2 loading zones. It exists in 2 locations at the same time. The real one is in this loading zone I'm currently in, and it's at the very top of the level underneath some glass, and it's meant to be like you fall into the building by breaking the glass and land on it, but it exists in this loading zone. The fake one is in the building just above where this old man lives, and if you and basically it despawns when you collect the real one, but it does function half like the real one, but doesn't actually get rid of the original one that exists, the real one. So by collecting the fake one first, we can get 2 hearts for the price of 1. So there it is above him. This one-eyed monk wants us to help him out. We're not going to help him out right now. We want the heart above his head. So I want to grab this. That's a 1-up. Just in case. You never know your luck in the big city. So yeah, they're like, oh, they couldn't possibly reach this. So this cutscene that's currently playing is what causes the heart counter to tick up by 1. The game has despawned that fake heart, but it hasn't despawned the real version. So when I inevitably collect that one, it will do the cutscene again and tick it up by 1 value. So that's how we get 2 from it. If you tried to collect a heart that you've already collected, you simply phase through it and then you get teleported back to the hub. Okay. The flying guy did not want to cooperate, so he will stay alive for now. Ow. That was rude. Those guys that I keep jumping past and whatnot, they actually have 4 versions. There's 2 based on weapons, and then their size is either big or small. And the only thing we care about is small. We want them to be small. They're easier to get past. Also, I set the timer to dawn, and that sets the door to be open for us, as well as not set it to nighttime. And that will be the last time we'll need to deal with the sundial, if my memory serves correctly. And then it should be daytime for the rest of the run, which means no hard enemies. That was a good kick. Generally that doesn't work. I'll take another one of these hearts. So this is when the timing of your attacks becomes important, because of the whole fast attacks and slow attacks business. So the reason why I didn't just dive into that guy headstrong is because if I uppercut him with the dash, the forward-based uppercut, I actually kill him while I'm over the void, and I fall in the void, and I die. And then the game's like, start again. Very rude of it. But yes, the fast and slow, if I do the really fast attack, it doesn't actually kill the enemies, or it takes longer to kill the enemies than if I did a normal combo quickly. And then if I do it too slowly, obviously I do the slow combo, which is shockingly slow. So we'll do the sundial now that we've opened it up. You might notice that I take it kind of slow when I'm leaving the hub into this world. That's because there's an odd glitch, and I'm not entirely sure what causes this glitch, but it causes the camera to get sucked into the floor, but it only happens if I leave the area quickly. If I walk out or I take it easy, it never happens. And it's just, I'm not entirely sure why. So there's that nice little heart up there. We'll get that later. But right now we're interested in the door, this sundial door, which is just over here. Ooh, that was weird. Just a couple like mini skips based on good platforming and / or rage jumping. I totally knew that was going to be safe. I swear I wasn't just sweating a little bit. That was good. So I think, if memory serves, that's the last sundial door I'll do, and that's because all the other sundial doors after this are very lengthy or have ridiculous requirements to get them done. So we'll go back to that room and we'll get the heart that was valiantly displayed for us. Go, just need full rage for it. Ooh, pardon me. Basically the platform that you see sink into the ground as I enter the area, it's a weight sensitive platform. The less bodies that are on it, the higher up it rises. So you see how it's getting dragged down into the grounds. So the game expects you to beat up all those enemies, and more enemies spawn in as it's happening, and it just gets really ridiculously out of hand. Or I could wait for this fellow to come over here. So the camera's like odd positioning is because of the platform. It's tied to the platform, and the only way I can tell if I'm actually over the heart is when the camera starts to rotate, because it's pivoting around the heart, which is in the center of the pillar. So that skips that entire fighting section. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. Oop, take it easy. That sort of jump of the camera is basically it attempting to consume itself. So we need more rage, always more rage, very angry people. Rage for days. We're gonna go in here and there's like a cube puzzle. And you're meant to use your abilities that break the blocks to create like half paths. Or you could just do this. Ooh, I stuffed it up. Now I'll do it, fine. Nah, it's gonna be angry at me now. Fine. I'll do it the normie way. I gotta be careful with all of my jumps. Okay, good. Can you not? Alright. I didn't quite make the jump. Oh well. I'm so used to not doing this the slow way that I actually have forgotten how to do it the slow way. So I'll just go back, get rage coming in. What is that? It's so loud. That's anime music? Sounds like a rock concert. Really? Why is that happening? So, I know that if I do the inputs too quickly, it will long jump, but I am delaying by a very large amount, and it's still throwing me. It's very odd. That's okay, I'm the last run on the in this station for this leg of the marathon. I could be as bad as I want. I'm not delaying anyone. Except Softman, but that's okay. There we go, good heavens. How hard was that? Apparently very. Alright, I think I'm just bad. That's pretty much the extent of it. So we're going to go back in that general direction, but instead of going right, we're going to go left, and that's to fight a boss. Now, when I played this casually, this boss was like a nightmare. I couldn't beat him, and I just couldn't figure out how to beat him, and he was so ridiculous. And then I looked at him as an adult and tried to rat him out, and then determined that he's actually super duper easy, so long as you understand one very mild detail. So he's just behind these doors. He's also going to be flexing with us. We always love a good flex. There he is. Look at him go. And we're just going to do some... Beautiful. Alright, so this guy will move in a straight line towards you unless you move too sharply out of his line, in which then he'll stop chasing you and move straight until he hits the edge circle, the outer circle. When he hits that outer circle, he will start jumping around, aiming for where you're going to be when he lands. And that does not contribute to him getting dizzy. And he does it until he hits 3 consecutive jumps in the center circle, not the outer circles. And it's very easy to make it hit the outer circles. So he could be jumping around for a very long time. But obviously, the fast way is to just kite him around the edge of the circle, making sure not to sharply turn too hard, and he'll just make himself dizzy as quickly as possible, and we hit him. So now you get to see what he's actually going to do. Ah, see, I went too sharp. Now he's hit the edge. Oh. He had to move an inch after he landed. I guess that works in our favor. Yeah, I accidentally dropped an input for the long jump, and as a result I high jumped and nearly got hit by him. How much more have we got for this area? 2 more. So we'll get the real version of the heart that we caught a duplicate of before. We'll get it now. Thank you. Whoops. Good high jump. Ah, they're both large. I want those guys to be small because it makes it slightly easy to jump over them, but thankfully they didn't notice me, so they didn't attack me. Oh, I love screamer music. Yeah. Look, screamer music is screamer music, even if it is anime. Gotta wait for these platforms to behave, or at least this one. Well, that guy just jumped. So up here is where you're meant to get the real version of. There you go. You can see it up there, and that's meant to be like the Mock's room. And you're meant to be like, oh, I smash it and I jump on him. But it's like, I've technically already caught this one, so now the game has actually gotten rid of it, so it doesn't know it's there. So we're going to get one more heart from here, and that's the jars, obviously, because the jars are nice and quick. We're going to need some rage for that. I'm going to dodge this guy because he's trying to come for me. Basically, the jars are all around the temple that the old monk lives in, but not in the temple. It's all around the outside. Ow. Ooh, jump over this guy. He has hit me in the past and he has knocked me off the ledge. I've also just had general problems with this heart for some reason. I don't know, maybe the platform is getting to me. Ugh. I think we're out of the woods now regarding the dangerous sections of the jumping. So the heart that just spawned is down here. So we're just gonna land on top of it. So I believe that is dagger crate done. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think everything matches up in my head. So we'll move on to the next level, some of the sages. This is where I could softlock the game. So I'm gonna do this right, at least up until the part where I get the heart that I need to not softlock on, and then I'll see how that goes. And if I softlock, I can just trade in a save file that has passed that. But first, we're going to do a sneaky and steal a heart that's actually from a different level. Like, it counts from the inventory of a different level, but exists in this level, and that's this one right over here. Turns out the bottom of drains don't exist. So that heart is from Tempest Peak Manor, the Giants building. You go to the sink, and you go down the drain, and the drain is like a slidey level, and you end up there, and you pick up the heart, and it's all fine and dandy. But we could just literally steal it from the underneath of this world, and it's much, much, much faster. Let's just kill that guy. I'm gonna get one more heart before we attempt the soft-locked one. And that's the nose-itching factory, as I call it. So this level's actually meant to be like Mount Rushmore. There's faces all along the stone walls. Well, very large faces, and we've just climbed into one of them. Ah, bugger. Stop with the high jumps, please. Oh my god, that was dizzying. So this is a pretty scary looking factory. Some weird stuff going on. Can you not? Ooh, gotta be careful about this piston. A, it's really useful, but B, it could crush me. And I don't want to be crushed. Crushing is bad. But yeah, that's a nice little shortcut, very easy to do. And now for why it's called the nose scratching factory. That's because this face is gonna stick its tongue out with me on it. It's got a nice little booger that I want. I'm just gonna get right in his nose and scratch it real nice. Lovely. Vexx is a nice guy. He'll scratch your giant's nose for you. All you need to do is supply him with a beating heart. Alright, now we're gonna do the heart that can softlock the game for me. So basically, I need to break apart the stone wall on the left side of the area, and that reveals a face, and it's my face actually, quite nicely. And I'm gonna get 2 hearts from that area that it unlocks. And basically, the fact that I'm getting 2 hearts makes the time spent unlocking the face worth it in the end. Just gotta be careful about these little flying guys. They do like to interface with my jumping. Whoa, like that guy. He was coming for me. He wanted it. This other guy's also wanting it. He's still coming. He'll leave me alone now. Basically, they like to push you while you're jumping, and that's bad. So we're gonna just explode out some stone and make our face, because we're cool like that. We're very skilled craftsmen or explosive users. I don't know. It also destroys all the framework. So we're gonna get in here. That sounded like I hurt myself. Weird. I haven't hurt myself. This quicksand is similar to the lava in the below, in that it will kill me in one hit, so I don't want to touch it. So the heart I'm going to grab is basically, it's a Jar's heart. There's a cube that rises out of the ground where that heart is in the background, and basically you have to enter all 6 sides of the cube one by one and solve a puzzle inside it, and you get a jar for it. But the cube only rises when we're close enough to the trigger effect, the trigger area for it, which is not quite what you think it is. So we're going to try and jump over the trigger. Oh, I think I might have missed that. Don't hit it. Ooh, okay. So if I hit it from underneath, that causes the soft lock, and the soft lock is bad. Hang on. Yeah, I'll just kill myself and see if that resets it. If it doesn't, then I can warp to hub and then fix it through a different method. It should have reset, I hope. I don't see no cube. Looks reset to me. I do need rage though, however. I have lost my rage, so I'm going to get it off of this guy. Now for some reason these guys only give 2s. Only 2s. I don't know why, they're like the only enemies that do. And unfortunately that's like the only enemy I can quite gain access to. Ah, there's a 5. Oh, he died. Oh, I managed to get it. That was spooky. Grab that life. Ugh. Okay. Whew. Okay. We don't need to use the memory card. We're good.
I think there was a donation for it.
Well, I can't see anything in chat either. I think it's broken for me.
I don't know where the thing is.
Yeah, so basically, like, if you fall underneath it, what it does is that it goes, oh, you've entered the heart gaining cutscene. Let me go through this cutscene for you. But what it does is that it also tries to load the cube, and the cube is finished loading by the time you've started the cutscene. So it then deletes it removes the heart from existence after that cutscene's finished of the cube loading, and you're midway through collecting it, and it's gone. And the game's like, hang on, what? And it just freezes you in place doing the heart collection pose forever. You can't pause the game, you can't move. I'm faking strategism for the donation. I don't need the actually good player watching me. I feel bad. So we need to go back here for one more heart. It's the maze in the middle. You might have noticed it from before. There's a little guy. Get him out of here. Go away. So we need to turn these pillars into the color that represents from the statue at the end of the pillars. We do it in this particular order because we want to finish with that far pillar on my right, because that's where the next switch spawns. So change it all the correct colors, and the switch is right there. So if you think back to when we had the upside down thing in the below, and it was kind of like dizzying, this is a similar case. My controls are tilted, so if I tilt my head, it actually makes it very easy to do this. So, but otherwise you'd be like, whoa, what's going on? And you'd just be like smacking into walls and all sorts of silly stuff. What's next? Oh, I hate this one. I don't know how to do the trick for it, the skip, sorry for it, but whatever. We'll try. Trying is important in speedrunning. If you want to get yourself speedrunning, be sure to check out speedrun.com and speedrunslive.com. The premier sources of speediness in games. What was that? Discord. For game-specific speedrunning, Discord is generally the way to go. You can usually obtain a invite to the game Discord for speedrunning, and that's where you'll find a lot of helpful people and resources and the like. And that was really weird. There we go. So, gotta be careful there because I can get pinched between that big orange thing and the pipe I used to leap off of. That's bad. We don't want to get that happening. So there's like I've done it before, and I can't remember how I did it, but you can triple jump into the heart from where I just jumped over the pole, but I can't for the life of me replicate it. I just remember being able to do something similar. Oh, we're almost nearly at our goal of 3K for the event. That's impressive. Get those donations in. There's one more heart from this world, and then we'll be moving on to the next. Just gonna swim for these rings, and they're gonna unlock a door for us, and then we're gonna be able to get get a heart from within. The last ring I swim through, the rings themselves, their trigger condition is kind of expanded in such a way that it requires you to be moving past a certain speed, so you can sort of drift through it and then activate your swimming, which is just R, while the cutscene that does the door opening stuff, but while it starts, but you're traveling in the direction of the door as opposed to this. So I'm gonna try it. I'll see if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. So I'm still moving during this cutscene, and I'm now further down the path than I would have been. I got the angle kind of wrong, but I'm gonna take a little bit of damage. That's okay. If you weren't aware, my air meter is a bubble that circles around my HP, which is at the bottom left of the screen. That guy just jumped at me, but jumped way over me. Ooh, that's not solid. I thought it was. Oh, wait, I went one too many. So basically I want to say that's a developer intended shortcut. It's kind of hidden, but it cuts out a large portion of the platforming at the cost of needing to do one somewhat tricky jump. So that is Summon of the Sages complete. We can now move on to the second last world, the Frostblight Mill. I think I got that right. Yeah, Frostblight Mill. When I say that this game is kind of like the edgy version of Super Mario 64, you're going to see one of the distinct reasons why I sort of go for this beyond just saying, oh, it's got collectibles and it's got like a 106 thing going for it. So this is obviously something that sort of makes you think about Super Mario 64. It also doesn't quite work the way you think it would, but that's okay, whatever. But this makes me think very strongly of Super Mario 64. It's a princess slide, except with ice and lots of it. It's like, well, it is just sliding, but it also has a sick skip, just like Princess Slide. But it doesn't have a, what is it, 12.6? Or whatever the silly timing is. 12.7, my bad. No, strategy. System. Yeah, well, it wasn't read out, but Dave informed me, and I thanked him on stream. Oh, all the donations are being read on the other stream. Ooh, okay, we're good. Get out of here, nerd. Shoutouts to Strategism, both for donating and for taking this game great distances further than I could, and for coming up with this. He's also the world record holder. Amazing at this game. One day I'll beat him, maybe. He probably already has a new record, even better than before. But yeah, that windmill skip is pretty cool. The normal method, it requires you to go into the base of the windmill and climb it, and it's very, 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 very long. So it's like, nah. I'm gonna do this, because I've got rage and I can afford to try it. This is like an intense platforming section, basically. That makes you go very, very, very high. The little bop that the platforms do is your only indication that it's about to flip. Sure. Go for it, whenever you're ready.
So we got a $105 donation from A-Dubs saying, stayed up all night, but I got to see the Vexx run. Much love from your PAX Enforcer family and all the fans of your outfit. Put the money towards any name Astrious wants for Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
That's a good question. Thank you very much for that donation, by the way, and I'm glad you appreciate the outfit. I'll have to think about what I want. I could be a meme and do the same naming convention from Undertale and call it Duck.
I'd also like to announce that we've hit 3K.
Hey, there we go. We've hit
3K
our
hype.
donation goal.
Thank you all so much for the donations.
Thank you very much. Good work, everyone. It's gone to a good cause. Good cause. What? Dave. I'll call the Ocarina of Time file Duck. It's him laughing. What happens? Oh, dude! World record. Take that, stratagem. Take that. But I don't know if I peep. No, I wouldn't have PB'd. No chance. So it's okay. Sabotage. He paid you to do this, didn't he? Ah, well. Ooh, naughty. So we need to have 55 hearts by the time we leave this area. I feel like I'm missing a few. Yeah, I'm missing one. Oh, no, never mind. I just thought of the one I was freaking out about missing. It's also my favorite, funnily enough. I forgot the one that I loved the most. I got distracted, okay? That's okay, we're gonna do this. This is the last time you're gonna see the rock suit, but you'll see it like 3 or 4 times during this. Ooh. So remember that the suit doesn't jump very high, so those gaps are kind of scary. It's basic platforming. You only have to touch the crystal wall to break it, so I don't have to like charge through it or whatever in the time limit. Okay, that's the last hard jump that we had to make for that. Ooh. Good. Alright, time for my favorite heart in the game. Everything is fantastic with this one. Blink and you might miss it. So we're just gonna go over here and there it is down there. So that is not obviously the intended way to get it. You're meant to go to the top of the level and get on a winged thing and travel the wingsuit and travel all the way down at like breakneck speeds and hit it, moving ridiculously fast. Or you could just do a really good jump from the spawn point. So this is the last heart that we need from Frostflight Mill. It involves some sick hoop shots. But hopefully we need to pray that we get sort of not screwed over by like sheer luck and RNG. Oh my lord. Oh. There we go. So we need to do that 3 times. So that's the first time. The snowballs are kind of funky in both their spawning method and their speed, traction, all sorts of other stuff. It's very scary. Oh, the problem guy got squished by snowball, so that's nice. And I want that. Dang it. That's going to despawn before I get the chance to... Oh, yeah, there it goes. Hopefully another one will drop in. Oh, look at that. Alright, you ready for this, guys? Oh, careful. Kobe! Count it. So basically, when you jump, if you immediately throw the snowball after you jump, it adds your vertical momentum to its momentum, and it flies. So we're gonna... Whoa, okay. That snowball had a blood vengeance on me, and it failed. Basically, the water at the bottom is an instant kill. So if I fell, I had a very high chance of just dying immediately. Alright, so we're done with that world. We can move on to the last world, the Citadel of Shadows. This requires a lot of platform. This is like the pinnacle of platforming testing in the game. So like they wanted you to be like spot on with your jumps by the time you got to this world. But thankfully, we like to think that we're okay at jumping at this point in this game. But we'll see. So first, I need that guy. There we go. I'm gonna pick up this life over here, because you can never have too many. So these rings, they deal half your HP in one hit and stop your momentum clean in its tracks. So you die, generally, when you hit them. So that's why I needed full energy. And this is like a little cube thing, oddly also in the textures of the evil death rings of Doom. So the little sparky thing is just telling me where the bottom of this sphere is, so that way I don't get confused. So I could wait for the heart to eventually drag its way down here, or I could use that temporary moment where that angled platform is usable for jumping and just sneakily take it. So we're going to go back through those rings once more. Very spooky. But we don't have to gather as much rage in order to do it. We still want the rage for the jump. Cuts out a nice amount of platforming and risk. Get out of here, punk. And look, another life. Ah, so many. Ah, beautiful. So now we just need to do one more. And then we're pretty much home free for that heart. Too easy. So that's the killer rings. They come back late in the next heart. There will be like a spinning thing with arms, and the arms will do the same damage as well as a couple of other like moving obstacles. Basically, the game's like you can make one mistake, and then you have to go get health or risk dying. And I'm like, that's not cool, man. Stuffed up the start, but it's okay. I still got the hit on this guy. This guy likes to interrupt your climbing session over here, which is very spooky, because he has knocked me once to my death. I'm just gonna hit that. Ooh! He wanted it. That guy, he wanted it. He was swinging before I even made it up there. Basically, that skip I did actually has 2 effects associated with it, and it's kind of weird why the effects exist. But this area, see how it's already started moving? If I didn't do that skip, it won't move until I'm already halfway across it, and it kind of tricks you by thinking that it's stable, and you go for a jump and it just goes nope and just disappears from underneath your feet and you die. It's very scary. Very scary. But thankfully, the skip has a secondary benefit of us being able to act according to the movement of the item rather than not. That sick jump. So I have stuffed this up in the past, so bear with me here. Ah, beautiful. Alright, cool. So that's a pretty decent sized skip of content for the left path. And then that little extra pole jump is like a second or two more. So, ooh, don't hit me, please. Thank you. ZFG spoon. Ow. Thank you. Alright, so we got one more heart, and then we can go fight the boss. And you can be free. And I'm gonna get world record! A wicked sick time of like 20 minutes, if that. Yeah, so the next heart is behind us. Whoa, okay camera, thank you. Under here, there's a nice little path. I can't move while there's platforms in motion, God knows why. It's like, dang, I really wish I could move right now. So this last one's pretty simple. It's just a platforming challenge, I guess, in a sense. This area also has the sundial door. It's right over there. But we have no interest in it. The path itself is quite terrible, and the sundial itself is in a really awkward location. Obviously, falling into the void is bad, so we don't want to, but we're okay. There's that elevator of ours. And here it is, the 60th and last heart of this run. Presented in the center of a volcano with a sick twirling ring of fireballs. So now that we have all 60, we can now access the Shadow Realm, where we will duel Yugi in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Except it's not, but it's actually the Shadow Realm. I'm not, like, memeing beyond that. We gotta fight the Dark Lord Yabu. Yabu? Yabu. And his teleport is right here. Ding! So we're gonna fight him. He has 3 phases, and the first phase has 3 mini phases. The second phase is just on its own, and the third phase has 3 phases as well, like mini phases. And I'll explain them as I go through them. Pardon me. We're going to get our revenge. Save our grandpappy's soul. Whoop some ass while we're at it. So, first phase is waves and waves of these little critters. So this method that I'm going to do, this repeat 3-hit combo system, is the safest and most consistent way to deal damage to them. And I do mean safest, like you're invincible during the uppercut animation. And they can't jump as high as you would be. If I get too close to Dark Yabu while he's standing there, he'll do the same thing that the little grabby guys do, and he'll lock my position, but he'll also hurt me and then disappear before I can hurt him. So there's no benefit to getting close to him. Alright, so now we're in mini phase 2. He's gonna throw fireballs at us, and he's gonna do it in a semi-sporadic manner. He's going to aim where we're going to be, and then pick a spot around that spot in like a small circle. At least that's how I think the targeting system works. They land pretty quickly, and they hurt. They do 1 heart of damage, 1 bit of damage. So now we're entering mini phase 3, which is a combination of mini phase 1 and 2. But thankfully, we're going to use Rage for its actual intended purpose to skip a wave. Now, I need to be careful, because if he targets me with his fireballs while I'm in mid-air, it will hit me instantly, and I don't really get a chance to save myself. You bugger. Yeah, he likes to laugh if you get hurt. And so on and so forth. Mean little bugger. Ooh, 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 spicy. These guys do drop health in the form of the bouncing orbs, you might see. Yeah, those. That's always nice. Can you not? Mate, can you not? Alright. Being full HP when I enter stage 2, or phase 2 is good, because these guys deal a fair amount of damage. Basically, he's an ant. We've determined that the number of legs and hands he has makes him an ant. He's not a spider or anything more intimidating. He's an ant. A giant, oversized ant. So he's got 3 attacks. Fireball, Quake, which is that one, and the grab. I want the grab. There's the grab. Hit him in the face, hit him in the butt, flip the butt, and ground pound the butt, or near the butt. The game's kind of lenient. So now we're going to dodge his ground pound, and we're going to do that multiple times, and that's pretty much phase 2. The fireball attack, you'll most likely see it. Can you grab me? Or not? There he is. He usually follows up a ground pound with a grab, and sometimes he does just go for the grab. I haven't quite figured out exactly how to manipulate him into doing the grab consistently. And I can't hurt him until he does it, so... Now, being full HP is good, specifically for the fact that 2 of his attacks deal 2 points of damage per, which means I only have 3 hits before I die. Thank you, sir. And basically, I don't want to die. Dying is bad. Dying resets the entire fight right from the beginning. That's not fun. I don't know about you, but doing a fight over and over again is not fun. Can you grab me? Or not? No, he's gonna fireball, isn't he? Fireballs. So he could do 1 or 5. He never does anything in between. So 3, 4, and 5. And then he comes at me. And he usually ground pounds and then grabs after fireballs. Oh, you are very close to the edge, good sir. Can you stop? Uh-oh. Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay. His timing for getting up and recovering from his stuns become faster with every hit that I land on him. But yeah, he nearly killed me. It was very spooky. Can you grab me? Nope, you're gonna fireball. No? Now you're gonna fireball. 3. I like to group them up in one spot. Ground pound. And grab. Phase 3. Mini phase 1. I am now supercharged with the spirit of my dead grandfather. I can now one-shot everything. Get out of here. You not. Also, I don't know what's happening with the icon. Also, the end of the game is tennis. Time is coming up, by the way. I do need someone to jump on that. So he's going to keep doing this until there's no more platform for him to realistically destroy, and then he's going to do it from a standing point, and I'm just going to smack a fireball until when he dies. And when I hit the fireball is when when time is up. So I'm really confused with what's going on with the glowy circles. I'm kind of concerned. Ooh, that was kind of dodgy. There's one more. There he is. Where he spawns for the last hit is random, and the camera doesn't rotate fast enough for me to see it in time if he's not on camera, so I might actually lose him. Time. And that is Vexx any percent. Thank you for watching. And watch as he does the Terminator's ending. Watch his hand. I do not know why he does that, but apparently he gives you the thumbs up on his way down. Yeah, that's the end of runs from this station, and I do believe, yes, the other station has also just finished. So that's the end of today for ASM 2017. Come back tomorrow, and there will be just as many speedruns as there was yesterday, if not a little bit less because we finished earlier. But still, thank you everyone for donations and kind comments and all that stuff, viewing, hosting, support. It's been fantastic. We've already met our goal. We still got one more day left. Softman's doing the spiel on his end. Also, rip in peace, Vexx. You will be missed.